Hi, Rich. Things are looking pretty good on your foxtrot practice. So this week we looked at a few things in Quickstep, the fishtail, but also the lock and the running right turn. I would urge you to just go back and look at the running right turn. We've done some videos before in the studio, and particularly take a look at the one that I did with Mengu, where you can see how we're dancing it together. And just a review of that, the running right turn is made up of a natural pivot, that's a slow, and then 3 steps of a natural turn, like an open natural turn in foxtrot. 3 slows, slow, slow, slow. The lady's doing a heel turn there. And the running finish on the end, quick, quick, slow, and then coming out from there. So if you're looking at the spin turn as opposed to the running right turn, they both start with a natural pivot after 1, 2, 3, the natural turn. So when you dance the natural pivot, if I continued on into the rise here and then came out, that's my spin turn. But instead of dancing that rise there, I'll use this more early rise and placing my lady into a heel turn here and swinging around her. So it's similar to the natural turn in the foxtrot, although in foxtrot when we dance the open natural turn, we dance it from promenade. Here we're dancing it from closed position. So those are your 3 components: natural pivot, 1 slow, open natural turn, 3 slows, and the running finish, the lady outside partner. But I won't go into that too much detail here because we've done videos before, and I have done several in slow motion also with Mengu that you can go back and look at those. Maybe we'll take a look in the chart so you can understand it a little bit better. So onto the Quickstep. When I was watching you practice, I noticed that it was a little bit hoppy on the locks, and one of the things we did there was to practice stopping in this position where you're in the cross of the lock. So if I'm dancing the forward lock, of stopping here. Now, of course, we wouldn't normally stop, but the reason that I wanted you to do that there and also on the back lock is so that you could see which direction you were falling in when you were losing your balance. So that helped for you to just make your body aware of where your center is, whether you're falling one way or the other. And also to remind you that you have an additional rise, just like you do on the chasse. You have that pressure rise at the end. So after we've done the crossing action of the lock, I need to have the weight on the front foot if I'm doing the back lock so that I can press out in balance. And if you're just moving back with the legs tumbling like that, you're going to be always getting that little hop and skip. So you want to be aware of the rise and the continuous rise. We have gradual rise when we're dancing the lock, just as we have gradual rise when we're dancing the chasses. That seemed to help you, that moment of pause. And of course, the locks are progressing, but there is a moment where the weight has to be measured so you don't tumble. So stopping there for balance and to check where your weight is, and also to think about the rise that really helped you to smooth it out. It takes a little bit more practice in Quickstep because of the speed of the music. So practice that. Then the other thing we talked about was the fishtail. And your fishtail, the one that you're doing, is turning to the right. One of the problems you were having is trying to do all the turn on the lock, which is the end of the fishtail. So if I'm going to turn on my fishtail, then I want to accomplish my turn early in the fishtail. So here's my outside partner, slow. I need to create the rise then through my standing leg, which is my right leg, and that is where I'm going to feel the rotation here through the way I turn my thighs, and also the shape will help you to turn. So what was happening, I'll exaggerate it a little bit, here was your alignment. You were staying pretty much here. This leg then was going too wide. Remember, there's a lady's leg there. And then you were crossing over on the same line. And that is a common fault on the fishtail. If I do one right here without turning, or bringing this foot here, there's a woman standing right there. So when we're dancing the lock, remember we have that side lead or shoulder lead, and we're not in the same track. It's not taken in CBMP. So it's very easy to get this fishtail going like that. So if I do this without the turn, I do my rise, I bump her leg slightly here, and now I'll move into my lock, not on the same track. So that was the main thing that we talked about, is getting that discipline and getting more turn here. Just a little note there again, there is a broken sway. I'm using the broken sway in a correct technical term, meaning that's more of an upper body sway, not a mistake, not a broken sway as a bad sway. Usually the fishtail is done incorrectly with the sway at the wrong place. So you want to make sure it's on that first quick and then moving out into the lock. So a little review of what happens to the lady, and again I'll do this first without any turn. So my gentleman is stepping outside partner here. So he's catching me between my feet as I'm moving into my back walk. So I will be releasing through my foot as if I'm dancing a normal back action. When you create the rise, she should be drawing her leg then to cross in front. So it's very important that you check your weight in that slow, because if you move through and the lady swings her leg back, we're not going to be able to accomplish the fishtail, and we could easily trip. So I'm trying to catch her leg in movement, and then your leg is right here on the outside, and when you do that small movement, this is very unusual, because now there's an outside partner step that's not in CBMP. I've been bumped out of my CBMP, and from there on I'll go into my lock. Since we haven't been in the studio for a little while, you can lose track of that, but that's why it's very important there to keep this action very tight. We've talked about that in the past, the feeling of having a rubber band around your legs when you're doing these types of action in Quickstep. Really feeling the organization of the legs together. So if I've forgotten anything and remember it later, I'll make you another video. Okay, so I'll see you Friday on Zoom.